It's showtime. Okay, we're going live. Going live, going live, going live. Okay, where is me? Just trying to make sure that I have. Yes, that's what I want. Looking at trying to make sure I can share my sharing group. Let's see. Just sharing in a bunch of places. Easy sharing. And then I have to share again for I don't know if I could share my page to Abacus method post, and then I'm gonna share again. Whoops. Sorry. Now I just got to do administration work before I, do a whole bunch of sharing. So I got to share. All right. So, whoops. And then I got to share again. Okay, one more time. Share to my story, share to my page, and there we go. Okay. So, what are we talking about? We are talking about Abacus. Why are we talking about Abacus? So, the fundamental of Abacus is just to talk about let's learn how to count on an abacus. What's an abacus? If I can find my abacus, I can show you on a small one, which is a student one, or I can show you on a big one. And this big one is my teacher's one. Oh, hopefully you can see that. I didn't check my microphone. It should be fine. It should be fine. Okay, so this is my teacher's abacus. My teacher's abacus is kind of big, so then people, the students can see from there. This is my marker, and this marker tells me where the ones location is. So when we talk about the numbers, right? The numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4. All the lower beads has a value of 4. Ooh, has a value of 4. If you notice on the abacus, it actually translates to place value. So we have our ones, right? This is 4. These are the tens, and then these are the hundreds. Because this is a teacher's abacus, I can move my marker anywhere I want. The reason why we have a marker is so then if I forget what number we're on, I won't forget what place we're on. So like there was one time I was teaching, and I was teaching where I forgot to put the marker, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to start from here. And then, I was counting, and then all of a sudden I started talking about the tens place, and I'm like, wait, am I talking about 30 or am I talking about 3? Right? Because this is movable, right? So this is 30, 0, 3, or this can be 3 on the ones place. So knowing where your marker is important. On the student abacus, there is a marker as well. On the student's abacus, I don't know if you can see it, there's a dot right there. Can you see that? There's a dot right here. So there's 2 dots. There's 1 dot here, and then there's 1 dot here. Yeah, there's 1 dot here, 1 dot here. And it's the same thing. The dots are meant to use as a place marker for the students. On a Chinese abacus, this one specifically does not have a dot. So what happens is they would either start from here, so it'd be start from here, this would be the 1, or they would start from here, and then they can calculate their money, right? So it'd be their like $1.57. I'll explain more when I can show you on my other camera. But for right now, let's talk about counting. So all the lower beads has a value of 1, right? So this we know is 4, but what's after 4 is 5. Where does 5 come from? Because there's no more beads in the bottom. So 5 actually comes from the top. This is cumulatively 5. This has a value of 5. This one thing right here has a value of 5. So this is where we go 5, and then Abacus can also introduces the idea of counting on. So it's 5, 6. How do I know? Because remember, this is a value of 1. So 5 plus 1 is 6. And then 5 plus 2 is 7. And then 5 plus 3, right? 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now remember, I talked about how we could do a place value, right? So after 9 is 10. This is 10. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. Or if you're watching the replay, go ahead and hit on hashtag replay. If you like this information, let me know. Just, pop in a like and hopefully it will spread around. So anyways, so this is my place value. So we have 10, and then we have a that's not 11, that's 20. 11 would be this. How do we know? Because it's 1 and 1. 1, 1. 1, 2. This is 12. And then 1, 3. This is 13. I could do 33, right? Or I could do 5, 6, 7, 8. 83, right? So depending on where we put our marker depends on what we're going to do. Like if I did this, if my marker is here and this is the ones, then this is the tenths. So this would be 5.3. So it'd be 5, but then, it'd be like, yeah. So if you go 5.03, it would look like that. 5 point, because it'd be between these two columns, and then 0, 0, 3. So that's a little bit about Abacus and the place value. Okay, so we understand that. And then, this would be 5. If I move back my marker, this would be 500. So it'd be 500 because it's still a 5. So 5 or 50. So it'd be 500 or it'd be 50 or it'd be 5, right? They all have a value of 5. Okay, so that is a little bit about the abacus. Now, this abacus is not only just for counting, we also do adding and subtracting. We can do multiplication and division on this as well. The reason why we want to do is because it shows the children, even adults, right? Like it shows us how the numbers are being used, how they're being manipulated. Because that's what an abacus is. An abacus is a manipulative, but it grows. It's not just a bunch of blocks, right? So like the other ones that I have, we have like those number blocks. Let me see if I can go get them now. So the difference between Okay, got it. Okay, the difference between these number blocks, right? The difference between these number blocks is you can use them. That's not a problem. But it's hard to carry around. So I want to. There we go. So it's hard to carry around. Let me move my stuff. If you notice, so one of these is uh, uh, 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's good because they could see the quantity, right? They could see the quantity of the number. However, on the abacus, that would be 10. How do I know? Because there is my place value, and then this would be 1, 0. It doesn't show quantity, it shows place value. So, which is fine, right? Because each manipulative has its own strengths. You could do this with multiplication. You could use the blocks with multiplication as well, right? Um, you can do multiplication on the abacus. um, so we have where why okay. So this is great to be able to use manipulatives, right? Just like on the abacus, we can use you can use the abacus because it's just like a manipulative. So that's the one thing. But the other thing is, it's interesting on how we have our different blocks just like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So on the abacus, we have 6. That's what the abacus. That's the representation of 6. So we have our blocks and we have our here. But then when we count and we can add a lot more on the abacus. Here, I don't know, it'd be 2 and 2. So, but I don't really talk about how to use the blocks. I'm focused on the abacus. So the abacus is like a Lego piece. There's this thing. So it's just like a Lego piece. How do I know? Well, you see that there's this one Lego piece, and then it fits pretty much everywhere. So understanding how abacus works, understanding how the numbers work with an abacus gives you the building blocks to use for other problems and questions. So what do I mean? Okay, well, you know how there's these Legos, and then these are individual Legos, but if you add it to something, right? If you add it to this is like a little car thing that you can go. And so when we're building, we can actually build it and it can become a car. But remember, the idea is they're it's the building blocks. So the abacus is the Lego is a building block. There we go. Okay, let's try that. Or we could take the same building blocks and we can make part of a wall with it. So we can make um, a window wall, right? A wall for the window, so it can look like that. But it's the same building blocks, which is really quite interesting. It's too bright. Let's try that. Okay, so yeah. Or you know what we could do is we could add it to a bridge, right? We can make the bridge taller, just like that. But see, it's the same building block. Now, what does that mean? Okay, well, when we talk about it, right? Here's my paper and then my abacus. So on the abacus, right, if we have our questions, we have our questions. We'll do 4. Okay. So on our abacus, we can do 4. So we add the number 4, right? Which is fine. But understanding what the number 4 is. Now the next thing is if I want to add 4, right? When I want to add 4, there's not enough beads to add the 4. So what do I do? Well, the interesting about this is now we actually can take the 5 frame. In the 5 frame, right? The idea of oh, you can't see that. There we go. The 5 frame. What's the 5 frame? Well, 5 frame is part of trying to understand the bigger picture of how numbers work, right? So in school, we actually teach them the 5 frame, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know we have 5 columns or 5 boxes. So in these 5 boxes, um, we know that what do we know about it? We know that 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. And then 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. We know this. Well, in Abacus, we actually take it one step further, which means what? Well, what we do is we rearrange a few things. We actually take this one and we put it onto this side. Why are we doing that? Because we want to make sure that the equal sign is balanced. So, this is called cumulative, is it, no, or associative, I think it's called associative property. So Abacus actually introduces all of this as part of the whole thing. And what this means is if I have 4 blocks, right, just like that, well, I'm still here, I'm still trying to figure this out, right? I'm still trying to figure out what to add to 4, but I can have the 5. So if I add this 5, right, that's too much. So I actually have to take away the 1. So the building block here is knowing that plus the 4 is equal to, so when we rewrite it, it's 4 is equal to plus the 5 minus 1. So we add the 5 and minus 1. We want to know this because we can use this building block, this 4, everywhere and anywhere. So essentially, 4 would be this block. So what does that mean? Okay, well, instead of learning doubles, right? We learn doubles. Oh, 4 plus 4 is 8. That's a memorization. Whereas memorizing the building block, 4 is equal to plus the 5 minus 1. So if I want to add 4, I want to plus the 5 minus 1. It can be the same thing if we do 4 plus 3, right? If we do 3 plus 4, 3 plus 4, instead of learning the doubles, right? Plus 4 and then minus the 1, we can remember that this is our building block. This is our building block. Let me see if I can make it. So this is our building block, right? So here, instead of learning the doubles and then take away 1, I just have to remember if I want to add the 4, I can plus the 5 minus the 1. So that's the one concept, like understanding that we can actually utilize the 4 in multiple places. Understanding this is the building block. So let's go to take it one step further. Let me do another color. So then 2 plus 4. Okay, well, In school, they would teach us what would they teach us? They would say, "Okay, you have, 4 plus 4 is your doubles, and then take away 2, and then you go through the whole strategy." You could do that, that's not a problem, or you can go back and you can look at the abacus. If I wanna add the 2 and ask, "Can I add 4?" No, you can't. So what do? I need to plus the 5 minus 1. So then here, all we're doing here is understanding the building blocks. We're just understanding the building blocks. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. I am here to talk about Abacus, everything about Abacus and how it's being used. So I have books. If you're interested, I do have books available. Oh, there we go. Ah. I have books available. And they're Abacus-driven questions or Abacus-driven activities. So we're going to continue on. So let's go to the next one, right? The next one is I'm going to change it to another color. So it's 1 plus 4, right? So this goes back to understanding the 5 frame. I don't have a better I don't have a better layout. I have to work on my layout. Anyways, so that's why, like, learning abacus is the building block. Okay, let me take it one step further, right? We understand that there's the 5 frame, which is great. I wonder if I can edit this right now. I'm going to edit. Can I edit? No. No, cancel. I can't edit. Remove solo. Okay. Anyways, anyways. So let's take it one step further. We talked about the 5 frame, which is great. Not a problem. We understand that, 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. Let's take it one step further. We can actually take it, what's after the 5 frame is the 10 frame, right? In school, we're teaching children how to do a 10 frame. What is a 10 frame? Well, if I do the 10 frame, 1, 2, 3, 4. I should do this. Anyways, so there's my 10 frame, right? There's 10 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then if I color in 4, right? What's the partner of 4? The partner of 4 is 6. So when we rewrite it, we have 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. Okay. Remember, this 4, what are we going to do? We can do, I don't know, we can learn our doubles, right? We have 4 plus 2, right? We could learn our doubles. I don't know how they're teaching that, but let's stick with the 10 frame. So this is our 10 frame. In our 10 frame, we need to remember that the partner of 4 is 6, right? This is one of the things that they are talking about in school. I'm not sure if this is part of Common Core, but anyways, the fundamental is there. We are teaching children that 4 and 6 is equal to 10. Abacus takes it one step further. What does that mean? It takes it one step further by moving this over. We utilize the 10 frame. So here we have, if I want to add the 4, if I want to add, so here I have 7. No, I have 5. Is that going to work? No, I have 4. 9. I have 9. I should do 9. 9 plus 4. Now, this is where we start thinking about critically, right? If I want to do a 9 plus 4, is there enough beads? So then here's a bunch of questions that kids actually have to talk about when they do their adding and subtracting on the abacus. So they have to think, do I have enough beads to add 4? No, there's not enough beads to add the 4. So what's the next thing? Well, remember we talked about the 5 frame, right? Is there enough beads to add the 5? No, there's not enough. So they go through a process. It's systematically going through a checklist of trying to figure out what can be done. So we're still trying to figure out what this question is. The question is 9 plus 4. So if I cannot add the 5, right? If I can't add the 5, what's the next thing? The next thing is to do it with the plus 10, which is really quite interesting because with the plus 10, if I switch this around, I think it's called associative property. So if I switch this around, right, I move this 6 over to this side of the equation, right? I rewrite it, it's 4 is equal to plus the 10 minus 6. We want to say plus 10 because we want to remind ourselves that we're adding 10. Why are we adding 10? Because this is how we start using it on the abacus. We add the 10 on this side. So it's kind of called grouping in school, right? Grouping. But in Abacus, we actually it's just part of Abacus. It's not like we call it anything specific. We actually just do grouping, right? It's in quotes because of the place value. So what we do is we do 10, we add the 10, but there's too many beads, right? We're only using 4, so then we have to take away the 6. So my answer is 13. The idea here is utilizing the building blocks. So it goes back to understanding how to use this 4. This is the number 4. How can I use it? Can I use it with a 5 frame? Right? Or do I need to use it with a 10 frame? If you have any questions, let me know. I know there's a little bit of delay. Let me know if you have any questions or if I've lost you anywhere. But I really enjoy talking about Abacus and how I feel like using Abacus makes learning math just so much easier because we don't have to memorize like doubles and doubles plus one or even like learn strategies. This one here that shows you the how the beads are moving. And when the beads move, you could see the pattern. So when we want to add 9, right? When we want to add 9, we have this. This can be 9, right? This is 90. Then we go this is 900 and then this is 9,000. Okay. Now, the next step is when we want to add a 9. Well, let's add another 9. I'm going to use another paper. Okay. So we want to add a 9. What is the question? The question is 9 plus 9. Easy, right? 9 plus 9. Again, we can learn our doubles. We can learn our doubles, or we can learn the fundamental building block of a 9. The fundamental building block of a 9. Well, can we add a 5 to it? No, because there's too many, right? Too many beads. But we can do is know with our 10 frame. I should really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? The 10 frame. When we go to do our 10 frame, we are taught this in school. Well, the kids learn this in school. I didn't learn it when I was young. They didn't have that when I was young. But they teach this in school where you have to not have to but if you color in all the blocks, right? How do we make another 9? How do we make a 10? So we know that we do 9 plus 1 is equal to 10. Then there's a strategy to make a 10 when you have multiple digits. Oh, that's another strategy. We could talk about that one later. But there's a strategy that they say we can make a 10. You could do that, or you could just learn the building blocks. And there's just so many ways to just add a 9. So we're adding a 9. This is my beginning concept, right? Then we want to change it, right? What we call it in Abacus, we want to change it. We're going to call it a formula. We call it a family formula. Well, or you call it big friends. There's multiple vocabularies with it. But what are we going to do? We're going to take this 1 and we're going to move it to this side of the equation. The equation is the key, right? So then when we rewrite it, it's 9 is equal to plus the 10 minus 1 because we're moving it to the other side. This is the concept is pretty sophisticated, but I don't teach it this way with the kids. This is just for us, right? This is just for us to understand what's going on. Like, why is this woman talking about abacus and so passionate? I'm so passionate about it. Why? Because I'm going down this journey of trying to relate abacus to regular American schools. I don't know how it's like in other parts of the world. I know other parts of the world knows a lot about abacus and have at it because it's the greatest thing next to sliced bread. I have a bunch of followers from Africa, and there's a school in France that's using my book. My book which is fantastic. Like, I'm going to make more books. So I have this book that I just created, and this is about it's all about Abacus. But the way I did it, right, it's systematic. So we talk about like the numbers first. The first thing we do is we talk about the numbers. And then after we talk about the numbers, there's the relationship, and after the relationship, we go into adding and subtracting. So I added to where you could see the abacus. Where was I going with my story? so so building blocks. Okay, we're still in this one question. Let me know if you have any questions, because I'm just going to keep rambling because I love talking about abacus. Okay, so we're having this 9 plus 9. So on our abacus, I got to redo it. On our abacus, we have 9. So the building block is adding the 9. We're back to building blocks, right? We want to know what this can do. So all we got to do is, if we're adding the 9, all we have to do is plus the 10, take away the 1. Plus the 10, take away the 1. So it doesn't matter what numbers is associated with the question, right? So even if I had 6, 6 plus 9, right? Even if it's 6 plus 9, instead of learning doubles plus 3, so you have to take it away. So which doubles or whatever, right? So instead of learning your doubles, understand understand this fundamental building block, which is the 9. So if I want to add the 9, so it's a different way of answering questions when we do it through the abacus method, right? If I want to add the 9, all I have to do is plus the 10 minus the 1. And that's it. That's it. All I have to do. And then when you look at it, this is the pattern. That's the pattern. That's all the pattern is. So if I had 7, right, and I want to add the 9, it would just be this. It's easy. It's so easy. It's just crazy. So even if I had 38, if I had 38, what do I do? All I got to do is this for plus 9, right? Oh, yeah. So that was the thing. 38 plus 9. So then the concept was, let's make a 10. Okay, well, if this is a 10, right? So I want to make it to a 40. So that means I had to add a 2. And then if I add a 2 up here, I have to take away the 2 here. So then it'd be 40 plus 7, which is 47. Oh, can you see that? Yeah, you should be able to see that. I should have used the other green. Right? So that was the thing, 40. So I had to plus 2. If I plus 2 up here, I have to take away 2. So that's one of the strategies, is to do a make a 10. It's make a 10. This is what making a 10 is. And then because we take away here, I want to take away 7 and then 40. It's great. It's a interesting concept. It's an interesting strategy to do. You could do it because, it's a stronger way of your numbers more, because then you can start adding making a 10. Or on the abacus, we have 30, we have 8, we want to add 9. I know my building block is plus the 9 is equal to plus the 10 minus 1. So all I got to do is plus the 10 minus the 1. And that's it, right? So, good morning. If you have any questions, let me know. There's a little bit of delay when I'm talking because I'm on StreamYard, and then I'm like all over the place. So, that's the thing. Okay, it's been a half an hour. Okay, I just want to make sure that I have enough time, because there's a lot of, there's a lot to talk about in the abacus world. Oh, that was the one thing I wanted to explain. So one of the questions was, how do I make it more mental, right? So everybody starts off with using the abacus. And what's the next step is, in my curriculum, and in the curriculum that I have, after you understand how the numbers move, we actually use this paper one. This paper one is the transition period, where you cannot move the beads, but at least you can try to imagine it. So the reason why is because if we did so it starts off, and you start off with the same questions, right? So you do 4 and then plus 4, right? That's how we do it on the abacus. Now when we transition it to the paper, we do 4, right? Or it should be in the middle. I'm going to do 4 and then plus another 4. I add the 5 and then take away the 1. But because you can't move it, right? That's the transition. The transition is to put it in your head. And then you do the same question again after a while. After you go through this paper, after you go through the paper one, you do it again and you do it mentally in your head because hopefully you could see the abacus and you can visualize adding 4. Yeah, that's the idea. So I mean, my boys, they went through the curriculum, and so that we started off with them on the abacus, and then we transitioned them to a paper, and then we transitioned them off the paper to just be without the paper. So hopefully they could see this in their brain and they can utilize it. That's very concrete in your brain, but they know it so much that it's just part of them now. They can't figure they don't know they don't know what it's like to not know. It's just ingrained in them because they started with abacus when they were young. My classes, I'm opening classes up for my preschool and I accept kids from like 3 years old, 4 years old, if they are inclined to learn. And so what we do is I go through and we talk about how to read the abacus. So we actually count on the abacus. The first thing for abacus for the preschool one is like trying to do supatizing. We try to supatize on the abacus. That is the first step, and then after that, then they'll start learning how to add and subtract. But I do have classes. I do have classes. They're also pre-recorded and self-paced. If you're interested in that, or I do offer live classes. On my online live classes. We could talk about that later. Um, if you're interested, leave a comment. Yeah. Or if you want to know more, go ahead and go to my website, learningwithlynette.com, and talks more about my curriculum. I also have a bunch of books. I've got like I've already I'm on my 7th book, but right now this is what's available. With the preschool one, there's the math, the +5, and then there's the +10. And these are all available on Amazon. Let me know if you have any questions and I will continue on. So, um, let's see. Okay. So we were talking about so that's the deal on how to like make go to mental math. We transition the kids, step by step. It's all about, increments of learning and increments of providing um, abacus into their brain, making abacus more into their brain. So then that's how we do it with the. I don't. I will be recording questions with the paper abacus. So that's part of the class, but that won't be until later when they start. Hi, Jennifer. Um, that won't be until later until they start understanding how the abacus moves on the abacus. Okay, so that's one, that's two, that's the mental math. So that was one of the questions. One of the questions, like, how do you make it mental? How do you go to mental math? Okay. Um, can I do that? Hi. I see you. Okay. Um, so that was that. Oh, counting. So then I created a calendar. I don't know if you can see that. I created a calendar, and it has the abacus with it. Oh, that's not it. Okay, so February 1st is coming on Saturday. So I have if you're looking for a calendar, let me know. This is available for free. Just let me know and I can send you the link. So I have it where if you could see it, can you see that? Oh, it's kind of blurry. Okay, anyways. So I have it where each number is represented with the abacus. So I have 1, so this is 1, this is 8, and then this is 7, right? So I have the whole calendar. Here, let me see if I could share my other screen. add to the stage. There we go. This is way better. So I have it where these are questions. These are predetermined, not predetermined, but these are question prompts to try to ask the child. What is it today? What is it tomorrow? And what is it? What's yesterday? So then hopefully the concept of understanding like the calendar just in general. But I took it one step further and I added Abacus to each of the numbers, and then I have it for this is quarter. This is a quarter looking, right? And then, the difference between this one and this one is that there are more beads. So this one I said it was more like preschool. Like if it's too many beads, if this is too many beads, like there's all the extra beads that's there. Um, if it's too much for the kids to visualize, then I have it where it's less beads, so it's easier to see what the number is. And we go to 30, 31, and it talks about like you could talk about like what the year is, or what the year is, what the days are. So this is quarterly, and then I have the bigger version. This one's February only, but there's two copies. So as I said, this one's the preschool version because it's less beads. This is the regular version where you would have to differentiate between the non-active beads and the active beads. So that's what I have. Yeah, let me know if you are interested in this. I have this is available. This is available just to free download. It's a free download. Just let me know. I'll put it in the comments. So this is my calendar, and then you talk about like the years, but I did add in the quarterly stuff, and then this is the monthly. This is only 1 month, so I only added the February one. I do have a separate one for March and a separate one for April, and I'll when we get to those months I'll get to I'll show the other months, but that's what I got. And then I have my books. These are my 6 books that I've created. um and they're available on Amazon. And if you want some free coloring pages, what does the coloring book look like? Um, so here's my coloring book. Let's see. Here's my coloring book. What I did was it's really quite plain. So it looks like this, right? But the idea is to be creative. So I have it where I started coloring it in, and then I just started, and then we started going through, and then I got really creative, and I'm like, how am I gonna do certain things? But I have it where you color in the bead. There's the number 3, there's the word, and then there is um the number. So this is my coloring book. I still got to do more. I'm only on what, 16? Yeah, I was trying to figure out this whole like um blending stuff. Yeah, so I'm on 17. I should do one today. Anyways, so that's my coloring book. It's very simple, right? Here's an example of what it looks like. And it goes all the way to 100. Yeah, so that's my book. Yeah, I have a lot of books. Okay, so, yeah. So I think that's about it. I mean, if nobody has any questions, I'm going to sign off. It was a good, whew, it was a good one. What are we talking about? Okay, we transition to mental math, unboxing. Oh, no, that's okay. Working memory to long-term memory. Oh, working memory to long-term memory. I can talk about that. I can talk about that. Okay. So, working memory is what we want to talk about. Working memory is only information that happens in the front. So, the way I have the class is we want to teach them. Uh I want to teach them the numbers and the thing. So, have a good day. Have a good day. Um, I want to teach them, but so we have it in their working memory. But what we want to do is we want to make it into their long-term memory, right? So a lot of it is not. It's one, it's repetition, but two, it's also the ability to make sure that they not understand, but um, practice. Practice. Was it practice? making it go into their long-term memory. Yeah. I think I'm gonna marinate on that topic a little bit more. All right. Okay, yes, I'm going to sign off. Thank you again for joining me. If you're catching this on replay, let me know. Hashtag replay. If you have any questions, let me know. I mean, I love talking about Abacus and how it strengthens math fundamentals. I remember talking to this one friend, and she has a friend who has a daughter, I believe, and they were having problems with multiplication. Although we don't learn the actual multiplication on the abacus, we use the multiplication math facts. But I think the biggest thing was they didn't have a very strong number sense, so it was very difficult for them to understand how to do multiplication. So I think what I was trying to say is, if the fundamental of understanding the numbers is not strong, learning more complex math will be difficult, and that's what I'm gonna that's the hill I'm gonna stand on. So, but yeah, if the foundation is weak, then it'll be harder to understand the more complex math that are learning, like the quadratic formula. Anyways, so thank you again for joining me. I'm going to sign off. But if you have any questions, let me know, and I will look forward to talking to you next week. I am thinking about doing this daily, but we'll see. Bye.